All right, guys, so I've got a 93 S10. It is a 4.3 5-speed four-wheel drive. And I recently had to do a starter, and it was kind of a pain in the rear end to get out. So I'm going to show you guys just some tips that helped me. It would save me a lot of time if I'd have known them going into it. So first thing I did, of course, to get the starter out, is your starter has the 2 bolts in the bottom of it. I believe they were 14 or 15 millimeters, something like that. Very easy to get to, plenty of room there. So take those out, and then the starter will be loose in there. And then your electrical connections, there's 2 of them. You can access those through the fender well on the passenger side. I waited until the starter was loose in there to take mine out. I actually pulled it from the bell housing, or from the transmission rather, and then it just gave me a little bit more room to work. A lot of people will take those off first. I don't necessarily, I didn't think that was the best way in the world, but I did. Whenever I put them back on, I had the starter secured. So you can probably do it either way. I just found it easier to drop it down and then unbolt them, because there wasn't enough wire for me to pull it completely out of its home. So there's a cover on here. So you'll see your slave cylinder right here. It has 2 nuts on the back end. You got one there and then one over here. I unbolted those, and I actually pulled the slave cylinder out. And then on the front of the transmission, you'll see there's like a very thin metal plate that has some screws that go around the front of the transmission. Try and let you guys see that. It would be like this plate that goes in here. Loosen that. That'll help you get the starter out of its hole. I couldn't bring it back far enough to get it out with that in, but loosening that cover helped me shift it down. Then I could pull the starter out. It gave me more wiggle room for getting it out. So then the challenging part was the starter has to come out this way. It's the only way. You shift it around in there, and then you just pull it out. I don't know if it's this exact setup. You know, some people on the internet say it comes right out, and other people say that you just got to wiggle it and fight with it, and this, that, and the other. The service manual for this truck says to unbolt the motor mounts and jack up the motor to give you enough clearance right here. I wasn't about to touch the motor mounts on this truck because, I mean, look at it. It's pretty rusted out. It's an old farm truck. So what I did, and I would never do this professionally, but on this truck, I didn't care to do it. This bracket right here for the lower control arm, right here, there was about probably 2 inches of just wasted metal. So like this bracket actually came up to about right here. So it came up here and then over. And my starter was just getting hung up on that. So I took Sawzall with a carbide blade on it, and I just did a clean cut, well, clean-ish cut, right across here, and just cut off about 2 inches of that metal. That gave me enough room. That starter fell out when I did that. So that was something. I fought with it. I wiggled it to death, and it just would not come out. And then when I cut that, it opened this hole up enough to where you could get it out. Only other thing, I forgot to mention this, that will help give you some clearance, is there is a bar here. It's a transmission support. Bolts up here, and then it bolts up, I believe, on the end. I believe on the frame. It's easy to get to. Take that off, get it out of your way. That'll help you. It'll give you a little bit extra room. But yeah, that was just something that helped me a lot. It would have saved me a lot of time if I'd have just cut that off to open up some space to pull it out. Like I said, I would never do that professionally, but it worked. Another tool, or a tip on a tool, which there's always more than one way to skin a cat. But on them 2 wires, put your smaller one, you see the 2 nuts there, put your smaller one that is furthest away from you on first. I do not remember what tool I used. I think I used a stubby, like 8mm wrench or something. And then for that big guy, like I said, I bolted these up once the starter was bolted in place. And I used a stubby flex head ratchet. A lot of people go through here and just hit it with a wrench. It just takes them an eternity, it seems like, to get it. So what I used, I'll show you kind of the setup I did. So I used a stubby ratchet like this one, flex head, and I folded it over like that. And then I'm not gonna touch it because my battery's hooked up, but I stuck it in with the handle pointing toward the rear of the truck and put the socket on, and it just made cranking that nut down so much easier. Not hard at all. So your truck may have a little fabric cover here. Mine rotted away who knows how long ago. I should probably get something new to put on there to keep water and stuff out, but we'll cross that bridge another day. So I hope this helps somebody. You know, like I said, there is a ton of videos of people doing these starters on these S10s out there, and there's a lot of good videos, but I've never found one of this style truck exactly with the 4.3, the big V6, and the 5-speed transmission and the 4-wheel drive. And I feel like that combination gives you a lot less room than like your smaller V6s, your 4-cylinders, your automatics, your 2-wheel drives. I feel like they're all just different enough to where the starters come out a little bit easier, because there's plenty of videos of people just pulling them out, and mine would not just pull out until I cut that bracket. So hope this helps you. Good luck to you. If you got any questions, just drop me a comment. Be happy to help you any way I can.